Isn't it curious how certain thoughts, certain circumstances, seem to arrive just when you need them most? You may not have been searching, yet suddenly something appears, an answer, a realization, a path, and it feels as though it was waiting for you all along. Life has this peculiar rhythm. Nothing comes too early, nothing comes too late. Everything, even this very moment, arrives exactly on time. And what we call coincidence is often life's way of reminding us that we are part of a larger harmony, a pattern so vast that the mind cannot control it, only awaken to it. Think of the times in your life when something seemed to appear at precisely the right moment. A stranger's words, a sudden insight, the opening of an opportunity. You may have thought, how extraordinary, how lucky. But what if it was not luck? What if it was simply the unfolding of the pattern? In the East, they call this Tao, the way things move when we stop forcing them. In India, it is called Leela, the divine play, synchronicity. But whatever the label, the experience is the same. What you need comes when you are ready. This readiness is the key, for the truth is always here, all around us, like sunlight pouring down. But until you are open to it, it passes unnoticed. A child may hear profound wisdom and dismiss it as nonsense. The same words, years later, may pierce the heart like lightning. And so it is not that life suddenly produces meaning, but that you ripen into the ability to receive it. What you call coincidence is simply alignment, the moment when your openness meets life's generosity, and a door swings open without your forcing it. But notice how this timing works. You cannot grasp at it. You cannot demand that wisdom appear. It is like trying to force a flower to bloom by pulling at its petals. You only destroy it. The flower blooms when the season is right, when the sun and soil are ready. In the same way, realization appears when you are ready, not a moment sooner, not a moment later. This is why the most transformative insights arrive unexpectedly in the middle of an ordinary day. You were not searching, yet suddenly it was there, as if whispered by the universe itself. And perhaps that is why you are here now. Some part of you has been restless, longing for clarity, for a reminder. And so life has placed these words before you, not because they contain some secret magic, but because you are finally quiet enough, ready enough to hear what you already know. For awakening is never about gaining new information. It is about remembering that you are not broken, that you are not behind, that the very fact you are breathing now means you are exactly where you must be. Life never delivers anything out of season. Have you noticed how often the great turning points in your life felt like accidents? You met a person by chance, and they changed everything. You stumbled into a situation that forced you to grow. You overheard a sentence that haunted you for years. None of it was planned, and yet all of it was necessary. The mind resists this. It wants control. It wants certainty. But life is not a machine to be engineered. It is a dance. And in a dance, you cannot predict the next step. You can only move with the rhythm as it unfolds. But what if I miss my moment? Yet you cannot truly miss what is meant for you. The tide does not rise only once. It comes again and again. If you do not hear today, life will whisper tomorrow and the next day until you are ready. This is the mercy of existence. It does not abandon you for failing to notice. It waits patiently, like a friend at the door. And when at last you open, you realize the guidance was always there. You were simply too preoccupied to see it. And now, here it is. So do not think of these moments as interruptions. They are revelations. You may believe you are being pulled off course, when in truth, you are being guided back. How many times have you looked back and said, if that had not happened, I would never have arrived here? What felt like a mistake was a turning. What felt like loss was a doorway. Life in its mystery, knows how to place before you precisely what you require, not always what you want. For your wants are shallow, but your needs are profound. And life always delivers what is needed. The message you seek will often come in the simplest form. You expect thunder and lightning, but instead, it is a quiet phrase, an ordinary moment, a fleeting thought. That is why so many overlook it. They are waiting for grandeur, when truth appears as a whisper. And yet, that whisper carries more power than any shout, because it does not impose, it resonates. It stirs something already within you, something waiting to awaken. And you feel it, not as information added, but as recognition, as if life is saying, yes, you knew this all along. You are at such a moment now, unsure of your path, confused by the noise of the world. And suddenly these words find you. They are not here to fix you. They are here to remind you, you are not broken, you are unfolding, you are not late, you are right on time, for life does not measure you against clocks and calendars. Life measures nothing. It flows, and you flow with it. And when you stop forcing, when you stop rushing, you discover the rhythm has been carrying you all along. You were never outside the dance. So much of our suffering comes from the belief that we are behind, that we must rush to catch up. But catch up to what? To whom? There is no finish line. There is no schedule written in the sky. You are the rhythm of life itself, and life cannot be late. The seasons do not apologize for arriving when they do. The tide does not scold itself for retreating or advancing. Why then do you imagine that you, alone in all the cosmos, should be out of step? You are not. You are moving exactly as you must. And when you see this, you relax, you stop grasping, you stop demanding that answers arrive on your timetable, and then, like magic, the answers appear. Not because they were absent, but because your eyes have opened. Have you noticed? When you stop straining to remember a name, it suddenly comes back to you. When you stop forcing inspiration, the idea floats up of its own accord. This is the same law. What you need arises when you are still enough to allow it. Life does not withhold. It only waits for your openness. But the mind resists this. It says, no, I must plan. I must be certain. Yet certainty is the very thing that blocks discovery. To live only by certainty is to live in the past, to repeat what is already known. But life is not repetition, it is creation. It is always new, always surprising. And so the truly wise learn to trust uncertainty. They learn to walk without a map, knowing the path appears as they go. Just as a melody emerges note by note, your life unfolds step by step. You do not need to know the whole song. Perhaps that is what you are learning now. Trust that what you need will come. Trust that you are not forgotten. Trust that the universe is not indifferent, but intimate, that it whispers constantly, though you may not always listen. And when you finally hear, you call it coincidence, synchronicity, fate, but it is simply the eternal dance. You were never separate from it. You only believed you were. And when you let go of the illusion of control, you discover you were being carried all along, like a leaf upon the river, flowing exactly where it must. If you feel weary, take comfort. Life has not abandoned you. If you feel uncertain, breathe deeply. The next step will reveal itself. You do not need to demand it. You need only to be present, for presence is the soil in which the seed of wisdom sprouts. And even now, that seed is stirring within you. These words are not giving you something new. They are watering what was already there. And soon, when the season is right, it will bloom. You will recognize it not as something added, but as something remembered, something always yours. Isn't it curious that even your struggles serve this rhythm? The heartbreaks, The failures, the disappointments, they ripen you, they soften you, they prepare the ground. Without them, you would not be ready for the insight when it comes. The stone must be cracked before the light enters. The soil must be broken before the seed can grow. And so even your pain has meaning, though you may not see it at the time. Later, you look back and say, "Ah, yes, without that, I would never have awakened to this." Nothing is wasted. Everything is woven into the pattern. When you despair and ask, "Why now?" remember, because now is the only time anything can happen. The lesson does not arrive in the past or the future. It arrives in the present. Always here, always now. And if you open yourself, you will see that what you need is already given. Sometimes as clarity, sometimes as mystery, but always as presence. Even confusion is a form of guidance, for it tells you to stop pretending you know. The greatest mistake is to imagine you must wait for some special moment, some perfect condition, before you can awaken. That is just another delay, another trick of the mind. The perfect condition is now. For now is the only condition that exists. When you realize this, you no longer anxiously seek the message. You recognize that the message is always here, taking countless forms, waiting for your attention. A bird's song, a sudden pause, a passing face, all can speak if you are awake to them. The universe is never silent. You are only distracted. But then, isn't it marvelous that even your distractions are part of the plan? For when you awaken from them, you realize how much time you wasted. And in that realization, you resolve to live differently. The detour was part of the journey. The missed turn was part of the road. Nothing is lost. Nothing is wasted. Everything belongs. And this is why you cannot fail at life. You cannot be outside of it. You can only imagine that you are. And then, one day, like today, something reminds you. A phrase, a moment, a gentle nudge, and you awaken. Perhaps that is what this moment is. A nudge. A reminder that you do not need to panic, that you do not need to rush, that everything, even your confusion, even your longing, is part of the unfolding, and that what you most need is always on its way or already here. The mind says, "But how will I know?" And the answer is simple. You will feel it. Just as you know when you are hungry or tired or in love, you will know when the message is meant for you. It will not be forced. It will resonate. And when it resonates, do not doubt it. Do not dismiss it as mere chance. Trust it. Life has spoken, not with thunder, but with a whisper. And the whisper is always enough. For whispers enter the heart where shouts cannot. They bypass the defenses, the pride, the endless arguments. And suddenly, without warning, you see clearly. You realize you were never alone. That life has been guiding you all along. That even now, in this very moment, you are being held. And when you feel this, gratitude floods in. Gratitude not for what you wanted, but for what you needed. And what you needed was not certainty, but trust. Not control, but surrender. Not endless answers, but the courage to live the questions. For life is not a puzzle to be solved. It is a mystery to be experienced. And the mystery unfolds only when you stop clutching at it, like sand slipping through your fingers. It cannot be grasped. But if you open your hand, it rests there easily. So too with wisdom. It is not found by force, but by letting go. And when you let go, you discover it has been here all along, waiting patiently. To relax into the timing of life. To see that nothing is missing. To trust that what you need is already on its way or already present, disguised as the ordinary. For the extraordinary always hides in the ordinary. The sacred hides in the simple. And when you awaken to this, you realize that you do not need to chase anything. You need only to notice the rhythm, the timing, the presence in each moment. And in that noticing, life reveals itself as perfectly whole, perfectly complete, exactly as it is. So when you wonder why this moment feels so timely, understand it is not by accident. Life has brought you here, not because you are lost, but because you are found. Not because you are broken, but because you are whole. The reminder comes not to fix you, but to wake you from the dream of separation, the dream of control, the dream that you must earn your place. You are already here. You always have been. And the rhythm of life is always carrying you forward, step by step, exactly where you need to go. So let these words be what they are meant to be, a reminder, a gentle hand on your shoulder, saying, you are not late, you are not behind, you are not forgotten. Everything comes when it must. Even this moment, even this thought, even this realization. Life is never early, never late. It is always on time, and so are you.